Hey, I know a lot of you think that I'm just like totally blowing everybody off, but I'm not. I'm working on a huge project for next year. But I wanted to take some time and come on over and do some coloring in beautiful fairy tales. This is a grayscale book. Um, it is some of the cheaper pages, but I find it just depends on how you apply your color as to how the pages respond. At least that's been my experience so far. I am going to work with my Marco Renoirs. I'm going to use number 6, 36, and 35. In doing grayscale, I find a lot of times it's easiest to go in and just start with some of that dark. Get those dark lines in. So everywhere that it's really dark on her dress, I'm going to go ahead and get all these little lines in. All right, and I'm pretty well going to do her in one color just to better show how to do grayscale. Okay. And again, if you're heavy-handed and you're doing this and getting a death grip on your pencil, try actually sliding back and holding further back. And I think that you'll find it's harder to press really hard, and it makes you have that softer grip and a softer touch. Now I'm going to zoom in, so y'all hang on. See how far it will let me zoom and still stay in focus. Now I need to adjust the lighting. How's that? I've really been practicing with my light, and I've found that if I pull it up and blind myself with it, it works so much better for y'all. So that's what I've started doing. Okay, so I'm coming around in here and just kind of blocking in this dark color. All right, the places where it starts going a little lighter, then go a little lighter. Okay, like I said, this is just going to be a short video. I'm not doing the entire picture here, and I am going to go around these little white areas because this is almost a dress, probably like a brocade, maybe even a taffeta, but it is a tone on tone. So, or you can put those in another color totally. I'm not sure which direction I'm going yet. So right now I do know that I just want to go around them. I could even come back with my what's it called? This, the one with the star and the, like a shooting star. You know what I'm talking about, right? Anyway, it's put out by Jelly Roll, and it's clear with glitter. And yeah, one of my ladies over on Coloring Books Keep It Clean sent it to me. I guess it was last year when we had our 1-year anniversary in the group, and I have been using it like crazy. I think it's maybe called Stardust. Anyway, I love it. So thank you for that. All right, so just getting the darks in. This is not real difficult. It just takes some time. Don't get in a big hurry. You're supposed to be enjoying the journey, not running a race. Sometimes when you get 4 or 5 pictures done in a day, I hate to say it, but sometimes it looks like it. So take your time. Now some of those pictures are really easy, and I understand that. But if you're racing through just so that you can post on a group, that's not what I'm about. I'm about taking our time, enjoying ourselves, having some fun along the way, and just trying to get a little better each time. Yeah, I just finished a series of videos. It won't be on till next year. Again, it's a project I'm working on. You'll have to be patient to find out about it. But yeah, it's 19 parts. It's out of my Cinderella book by Fabiana. Yeah, and very excited about it. It turned out really well. No, today we're not doing 19 parts. This is going to be whatever I can fit on one video. That's what you're getting today. So just coming through here, getting the darkest areas. And it may look like a hot mess before it looks better. There, I said it. Some of you are used to me saying that. Hot mess. Yeah, but if you'll take your time and follow through, it will get better. Now, don't accidentally do her hair through here. Okay, go around it. All right, so that's a lot of the darks right there in the top. Now, that was my number 6. So now I'm going to go to number 36. Actually, I'm going to skip that. I'm going to go straight to my light, number 35. And now I'm going to come in and do the light areas. And there's quite a bit of jump between these two colors. But that's where I'm going to pull in that other color. Okay? That's where our medium shade is going to come in a little bit. Going around some of this. Again, holding that pencil further back so that I'm not able to really get a death grip on this. Okay? Some of this little print, I'm going to go ahead and do it the lighter. That tone on tone that we were talking about. Getting that done in this lighter shade. And I may or may not go over that. It may all get blended in. It may not even show up later. I don't know. These are the things that happen when we color and we're flying by the seat of our pants and just kind of deciding as we go. I really don't know. I will decide as I get there. I don't plan out a whole lot on my coloring unless it's something that I know I'm going to keep or frame or something like that. And to be honest with you, there's not many of those. Now, in my fairy tale series books by Fabiana and in the Voyage books by Daria Song, I plan those just a little more because those are books I plan to actually pass down to my daughter. Yeah. Just because there's a good story in them and the artwork is so beautiful. Now, the artwork in this is beautiful too. I love these. These are awesome books. One of the ladies over on Coloring Books Keep It Clean sent me this book. And I'm having fun. So, and that's what it's about, right? Just having fun. Okay, so there then is the light shade. All right, we're just going from here to here right now. I may do another video later on skin tones and I'll come in and do her face. Okay, but not today. Okay, now I've changed shades. I'm going over to number 36 if you're wanting to use the same colors as I am. And now I'm going to kind of do some blending between the light and dark. I'm just going to do some blending between those colors. That, I think, probably should have been done dark. I'm not sure why I didn't fill that in. Could be that it was supposed to have been something else, but, well, it's part of her sleeve now. Now again, because the paper on this is cheap, it will take several coats, especially since I'm holding my pencil so far back. Don't forget to go around the hair, even if it's just strands of hair like this. You need to go around it. If you accidentally get into it, grab your eraser and gently erase that out. If you go too hard, you will tear up the paper in the book because it is that cheap. But again, beautiful, beautiful artwork. This is by Ruth Sanderson. There you go. And oh, she is quite the artist. Very much so. So just keeping that light touch. Anywhere where you go dark, if you can make your darks a little darker, it is going to make the lighter areas look lighter. I've been saying that quite a bit here lately on some of my videos because I think it's something you need to remember. A lot of times you've done a piece and you're like, well, I can't get any lighter. What do I do? You know, because that's supposed to be lighter. Just go in and make your darks darker, and it will make your lights appear lighter than what they really are. Okay? So don't fret. Just go in and work on it some more. Unless you've completely worn the tooth completely out of the paper, you can keep adding more color. It's another reason I don't use a blending stick or stumps, but I use my lightest color to blend with, because that way I can just add more color. Now that should look like it's got a lot of wrinkles and stuff in it, but I'm going to lift this up so you can see. There's a lot of white tooth showing through. There we go. See all that white? So now everything we've done, we're going to go back and do it again. Well, because we need to cover that tooth up. And now I am going to grip my pencil down just a little further than I did before so that I can put some pressure on it, because now I know where my colors are going. Now I can go ahead and do the pressure and get that in there. So just go back over everything again. I think the reason I do it in 2 steps like this is because if you try to do that all at once, you're really pushing the color down in there and you're not going to get as much depth in your picture. And I'm not willing to mess this picture up to show you what I mean. It's just, it'll be a whole lot more blocked in looking than natural and shaded. Maybe that'll help explain it a little. And see, I'm blending a little outside those areas this time too. Okay? So where some of this is blocked, I'm going to blend it just a little. Just blend into the other colors. The first coat we did was just to get the color on. Now this coat, we're coming back in and actually blending into the other areas just a bit. And do you see how much color I'm adding? The difference in this and this. All right? So that's the reason you want to do light coats. And that's the reason for 2 coats. It's actually going to start leaving the depth to the picture. Yeah, and just stop or back up, you know. It is just a video, so you can go back in and watch, pause, whatever you need to do. to be able to get this done right. And I say right, but however you would like to get it done. Now, her arm right here is in front of her bodice, so I am going to put a line in here. Do you see how I just defined her arm? Now, if I go dark behind here, even if it's not dark on the picture, I have just pushed that arm to the front. Okay? Does that make sense? I'll do the same thing down through here. I am pushing this arm area to the front. If I want to push that shoulder back, I can make this a little darker up in here, even though it's not, I know. But see, it just pushed that to the back and brought this some to the front. I want this wrinkle to really be a big poof in the sleeve, so I just make it darker. And now it has more curves and stuff in it. Does that make sense? All right, so now I'm going to go back to the, let's go straight to the lighter color and see what happens. So to my number 35, let's see if we have enough color that we can blend. So I'm just doing my little circles all over the page now. Even over the dark, yeah, because I'm adding more color to that. Just adding more color to the page, covering up some more of that tooth that's in the paper. Paper is lots of layers of pulp that have been compressed. And as you add more layers of color, you're compressing that pulp down and covering the white. Now, something I am seeing is that her outfit is awfully bright. Okay, now, it's not a bad thing, it's just not what I was going for. So I am going to come back in a minute with my medium shade and go over everything again. Okay, but can you see a difference already in this and this? That's why a lot of times you'll hear people say, oh, I used 4 layers of color. Well, we're on layer, what, 3 right now? So that's what they're talking about, is how many times they've gone over it. And I'm not being overly careful with this. It's just been a while since I've posted any videos for you, and I wanted to get one up today. So, and I wanted to get to color in this book. I know, right? So many great artists out there. And some of the books are very complicated and intricate, and then you've got some that are a whole lot easier. And see, I ended up not going around all the little swirls and tone on tone that was in this. I ended up just going right over it. So that's just, again, depends on what you want to do. You can still come back with a gel pen or something and put some little shapes and designs on her dress. There's nothing wrong with that. Okay, I'm not really going to worry about the collar or the cuff right now. I'm just working on this main arm piece so that you can see what I'm doing. Now I'm going back to that middle color, number 36. And before I do that, I'm going to make my darks darker again. Just come in here and really deepen those up. But I'm deepening them up in the middle of the areas, not all the way to the outside, just in the middle areas. Because if I go all the way to the outside, it's going to make it a little harder to fade that out. But see, by doing this darker, now I have creases and wrinkles in her sleeve, and those were getting lost. So I'm really applying quite a bit of pressure. I don't know if you can tell. All right, now I'm going to come back in one more time, and this time I'm going to use that middle shade, that number 36, and blend all over again. You see how I'm slowly working that white tooth, though, right out of the paper. Just working it out. And if you're putting her in blues or purples or whatever, teal, there's tons of colors that this would look beautiful in, then you're going to do it about the same way. Go in and make your darks darker, your lights lighter. Generally I used my lightest colors blending. This time I'm using my middle shade because I just wanted to change the color of it up some. And by going over all of it, I'm totally changing the entire outlook or tone of the picture. And this, to be honest with you, because there's so much gray in this grayscale, it could use another whole coat of color. Yeah, it just really could. There's just a lot of gray in here, but that's how you learn where your lights and darks are. And if you have a hard time finding what's in the front or what's behind, a grayscale is an awesome way to learn that, is just by doing a grayscale. Now, what if I wanted to come over this and deepen it? I could come in with this darker tone, this number 6, and I can go over the whole thing. See how it changes it? It's ever so slightly, and I don't want to go so dark that I lose these darks. But it changes the entire look just a bit. So anywhere where you think it's a little bit light, play with your colors. Yeah, why not? Just play with it. And if you get up on the tip in color, now I can really get all that gray going around each strand of hair, but I can really get rid of the gray that's in here. And because all that light color is underneath, it's still going to have a certain amount of light there, even though I'm using my darkest color now. So I'm trying to show you just the difference of what you can do with your page when you take the time to build up that color. So take your time, and see, I'm still using that darkest color. I don't think I've ever blended with my darkest color before. But see how this went darker? That just popped to the front. We just popped her arm up to the forefront. And I'm really getting down in there and getting the tooth of the paper covered up now. And then I can come in here and make this even darker. As long as there's tooth in that paper and that paper is accepting color, you can deepen that all you want. Let's say I want it a little lighter. Come back in with my lightest color, my number 35. Look, I'm lightening it up. So as long as there's tooth in that paper, you can keep going back and forth between all your colors and just changing the look. But doesn't that look like it's pressed further back now and her arm is closer to the front? So you would just keep changing around with your pencils. Here's that medium shade, the 36. I'm going to come in here and do some more. Just adding layer and layer of color. And at this point, I don't see my gray poking through. I see my other base colors poking through. And that's what I'm after. Some of these grayscale, and not this one, but there are some grayscale books that are just so dark that you have to put a lot of coats of color on there to cover those. And I really wish that the people that are doing those would just lighten them up. Going back to my dark, I wish they would lighten up that grayscale just a bit, because it's not hard to lighten that. They could do that before they go to print. Okay, there we go. So see, now that area has really got all the white out of the paper. The tooth of the paper is gone. And then I would come in here and start working the sleeve the same way. Putting my darks in again, really getting those darks in. Just getting that dark. Defining that elbow. And then it comes down here because there's a wrinkle that comes right up here in the fabric. There's another one here. And when you have your book right in front of you, you'll be able to see this better than me just telling you. Okay? And then I can come in here with the next lighter shade, my 36. I can add more on top. Okay, so just keep playing with this. Just keep playing with it over and over. And you'll get that lightened up. And you'll get the darks dark. And you'll get all that tooth gone. And her outfit will be beautiful. You're going to do the same thing on all the rest of the outfit. Now I'm going back to my lightest, my number 35. Just keep swapping your pencils around. Keep working on each little area until you get it just how you want it. Don't be afraid to go over it. It's just colored pencils, okay? And it's just a coloring book. It's not like you're burning dinner. You know what I'm saying? It's supposed to be fun. So take your time on it, but you can see how that looks so much different than that. Okay? All right, well, I hope this makes some sense and has an aha moment for some of you. I'm just making this lighter because I want it to pop to the front, and I'll be going over it again, so don't worry about how tackily I'm coloring it right now. That's all right. It's just one layer. That was my lightest. Now I'm going to go back to my darkest. Add some of that dark back in. And again, depending on what kind of paper you're on, now I'm going to define the sleeve a little bit. Depending on what paper you're on, it may not take as many coats. If you're doing some other fabric in a different book, it just really depends a lot on the paper. Now I'm coming in with my number 36, doing some blending, getting rid of more of that white, getting rid of that tooth. And how much pressure you use on a pencil may be different than how much pressure I'm using. So it may take you more coats, it may take you less coats. It's something you're just going to have to play with. Don't get in a hurry, which I am, because I want to do as much as I can for you on this one video. All right? But yeah, don't get in a huge hurry. Take your time with it. And we will come back and work in this book some more and do some skin tones. This book has a lot of different people in it, so we can do skin tones and stuff at some point. I'm going to do her sleeve, the cuff lighter right here in the middle. And then where it wraps around the bottom, I'll use that medium shade around the top so that it looks like it's more rounded. And then I'm going to come in with the darkest and do just a bit on the edge. See how I just pushed that around? See how that looks more curved now? That's what we're after. Okay. There we go. Okay, so that's it for this video. 30 minutes is plenty of time to sit and color, and then you need a break. So we're going to take a break, and I will see you back sometime for another video, but that's it for this one. Just wanted to get you started on her dress. So have fun with it, and I will see you all later. Bye.